Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Nothings podcast. It's Megan on the mic. I can't even believe it. We're back, baby. And Courtney is not here today. I know she ran so many guest episodes while I was out, and we are so grateful. So we are returning the favor with an amazing guest who I am in person with right now. Eve Rosemary is on the mic. Welcome to the Daily Nothings podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I literally can't believe you're here. I can't believe we're in Indy together, looking each other in the face. Mm-hmm. Eve is in town for NCYC. Okay, before we even get into anything, explain what you're doing at NCYC. I just think it's so fun. I just want the people to know what's going on.
Sure. So I'm the founder of the Everyday Saint, which is a public speaking ministry, a podcast, and then also a lifestyle brand, which I paint. I love to paint. So I've turned a lot of my paintings of the hearts of the Holy Family, about Our Lady, into lifestyle products. So iced coffee cups, prayer journals, sweatshirts. I even have... I like to write. I wrote a devotional, 7 Steps to Authentic Love. So it's a 7-day prayer, mostly for when I go in and do these chastity presentations for teens. It's a week-long devotional that they can take with them at the end of the presentation to continue learning about God's love and what that looks like in their day-to-day life. So I'm at NCYC with a booth right now, selling those lifestyle products, and then just getting to encounter a lot of the kids that I even was able to talk to a kid yesterday, which was so cool. I gave a chastity presentation at his parish in Arizona, and he happened to be at NCYC, saw my booth, recognized me, came up and said hello. Cool. It's fun. I love being there just to talk with the teens too. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And you're going to be at Seek in Denver, correct? Okay, so if anyone's going to Seek in Denver, go say hi to Eve.
Yes, I'll have a breakout session too. So you can come hear me speak. I'll be doing Rejection or Redirection, Discovering God's Steadfast Will for Your Life is my breakout session title. So
oh my gosh.
Keep an eye out for that.
Are you so excited? Have you given that talk before, or is this your first time giving this talk?
First time giving this talk. I really was thinking about what I wanted to speak on. I didn't necessarily want to do my traditional chastity presentation for this setting, especially because I usually speak to 7th through 12th grade students. So this one I was like, this isn't going to quite work for Seek. So I was like, I want to do something different and I'm 22. I graduated from college less than a year ago. So I understand where a lot of these college students are at of figuring out what God wants them to do, where God wants them to go, not even just from discerning God's will standpoint, but even just facing difficulties in that transition and learning what is persistence and this is going to be part of my saint story someday, or is this a sign that God doesn't want me to do this? Figuring out those hardships and really figuring out what God's steadfast promises and steadfast will is for your life.
Oh my gosh, so good. Everyone, if you're going to be at Seek, you have to go to a breakout session and support. That'll be so cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to throw it back to something we used to do with our our guests, that it's been a while. But what is your coffee order? I know I got you coffee this morning, but is that your typical coffee order? I just am so curious.
Okay.
You guys, she got an Americano with nothing in it, the hottest girl drink you can think of. So is that what you're always getting, or what is your coffee situation?
So when I go out to get coffee, yes, it is. But that's because this is just a very niche Eve thing. Is that I have a lot of food intolerances. I'm very careful about the milks specifically at places.
Got it.
Very hesitant to get the milks.
Okay.
Yes. There's usually extra stuff in it, and then it doesn't make me feel good, and whatever.
Yes, okay, that's good.
It's not good. So usually, yes, when I go out and get coffee, always an Americano. Sometimes I'll get honey in it too.
Okay, very cool.
But when I make coffee at home, I'll do coffee, almond milk, or actually I get this brand. It's called Elmhurst, and they have a walnut milk, which sounds kind of weird, but it's really creamy, which is good as a non-dairy person.
Yes,
it's thick. Yes. So I do that, and then I'll usually put some maple syrup in it. Okay. Maybe some cinnamon if I'm feeling a little
very
a little fun.
You know what? I appreciate you choosing things that actually make you feel good, because I am over here. I am
what did you get this morning? I didn't.
I got a peppermint mocha because I can't resist. You guys, it's so bad. But I am genuinely in such a sugar place right now. I feel through the hardships I've gone through the past month and a half, I just Also, it was Halloween, you guys. Halloween got me. Like, my daughter's got Airheads, and I mean, it's been 10, 15 years since I had an Airhead, but I ate it, and I was like, gosh darn it, this tastes so good. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
It tastes like wax?
No, I don't know what's happened to me, but because I used to be like a sugar fanatic, a candy fanatic. Like, I ate candy all the time, and I really, matured. And like, candy makes me feel terrible, so I'm not going to eat it. You know what I mean? But I've just been in a place where I am eating things and I'm like, I'm going to feel bad after I eat this thing and I don't care. And I do it anyway. And I'm like, okay, Meghan, after Thanksgiving, you're going to have to, because we're recording this, I guess, kind of early. Right. But so we're going into Thanksgiving week. And I'm like, well, I can't really change my habits until after Thanksgiving at this point,
Right.
Which is not.
Well, but then there's going to be Christmas.
No,
and then it's like New Year's.
Yeah. It's a disaster.
That's okay.
And then it's Seek. And we're going to take it one day at a time. But I feel like the sugar thing is like, once you start, it's so hard to retreat. And I'm going to try to retreat eventually. But like, even as you saying, like, depending on what milks and like what's in the milks, it might make you feel bad. So I'm not going to do it. Like, that's the attitude I need in my life. So you're inspiring me already.
Oh,
okay. Way to listen to your body and do what's good for it.
Thank you. I also, you're right. Americano is kind of like a hot girl drink. Like, I feel like pretty cool ordering it. It's like, I can drink the Americano.
Yeah.
In it and appreciate the taste of the coffee.
Yes. Especially the espresso. No. Everyone knows Courtney's on her health journey, and she's been an Americano.
It's been so fun to listen to.
I'm obsessed. It's so fun to listen to, and she's doing such a good job. I've been so impressed with her. But yeah, when she gets an Americano, I'm like, you're the hottest woman alive, Courtney. Don't forget that. When you get an Americano, there's something about it. I don't know. But okay, very fun. Let's dive into a little bit of just like a very brief overview of like, where did you grow up? Where did you go to college? Sure. And then we're going to kind of get into some of your past and stuff, because your transition of just like things you've done in your life is so interesting, and I really can't wait to dive in. But like, let people know where you're from and where you went to college and stuff first. I guess.
Okay. Little bit of overview. So I grew up in Wisconsin, in the Green Bay area. So less than an hour away from Our Lady of Champion. If you've ever heard of it, it's the only approved Marian apparition in the United States. I will always champion Our Lady of Champion.
I've been there. It's a very cool place. Also, if anyone's been following Jen Fulweiler's story, I don't know if you follow her very much or not, but her daughter, I don't know. We'll just send extra prayers to her family, because her daughter is going through brain cancer right now. She's a college student and she was diagnosed with brain cancer, and it's been so insane. But Jen has been calling on Our Lady of Champion for prayers. Like, that's been the patron of this whole situation. So just because you called her out, definitely pray for Jen and her family. I've been following her along on Patreon, on her Patreon. And it's such a crazy, sad situation, but she's going to Our Lady of Champion because she's the one approved Marian apparition in America. And I was like, what a good like patron to hold on to during such a hard time. So I just want to throw that out there. I've also been there because, as you guys know, I lived in Oshkosh for a couple of years, which is just like an hour away from Green Bay. And we were talking earlier, because you guys know how Courtney and I get about Wisconsin. And I'm like, I don't mean to offend thee. We just went through some hard times. Courtney and I, very different types of hard times, but they both happened in Wisconsin. And just the overall, the state is just got a big X on it for us because of that.
Well, and I mean, I moved out as quick as I could pretty much from Wisconsin. Not that I like Wisconsin. It's Wisconsin. Pretty.
Yes.
It's just so cold.
Well, and the summers, I'm sure the summers are so lovely.
And you wouldn't have been there.
No, I was not there during the most amazing time. So I do say, like, I'm sure if I spent a summer in Wisconsin, it would have been such a different situation. But I really spent bad times in Wisconsin.
The wrong seasons.
deep winter. And that is scary.
It is.
You're in the tundra. Like, it is life or death.
It's cold. Winter happens fast, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll get to this in my story, but I just moved to DC. Yeah. And this is the first time, like, I didn't realize this, but this is the first time I've really had, like, a fall.
Oh, my gosh.
And because people actually put out their, like, fall decorations. Like, they decorate their porch. Yes. And I was like, so much so that I noticed it. And I was like, why didn't I see this in Wisconsin? And I think it's because the turn from summer to winter is like
very fast.
So fast, no one decorates. faiths.
Right. No,
Which
and
is
it's
so
like you
sad.
have, like, I remember I went up to Door County like one
so
weekend
cute.
in the fall and it was so pretty, but I'm like, it is just like snap your fingers and everything is gone. Like it goes straight to winter and like all the leaves are gone very fast. So you have a very short window of like
Yes.
really loving the fall. But it was lovely, but short-lived for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
So
Anyways,
Wisconsin. I grew up in Wisconsin,
Yes.
and then I went to school at Benedictine College in Kansas. Go Ravens.
Yeah.
And just graduated there technically in December with my degree in theology with a minor in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And then once I officially graduated this past May, but I had an extra semester in there that I was able to finish my degree early. And then I actually started the Everyday Saint while I was in college, just interviewing other young Catholics about their faith journey. Because like in high school, I went to a Catholic school, but it really was like, once I started taking my faith seriously, my junior year of high school, like I didn't feel like there was anyone else like on par with me in that journey. So I felt super isolated in my faith life in high school, just not seeing anyone my age taking their faith seriously at all.
Sure.
And so then when I got to Benedictine, I was like knocked off my high horse. All of a sudden, from being known as like the Jesus girl at my Catholic school to like going to this great Catholic college. And it's like, oh, I'm not even known as the Jesus girl here because everyone here is taking their faith seriously. Wow. And I was like, this is crazy. You don't get this anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's really, I started the Everyday Saint podcast, interviewing your everyday saints, your everyday young people about their faith life. And then did that for the rest of college. Once I graduated, I was able to turn that into my full-time job as a chastity speaker. So cool. What I did growing up by Our Lady of Champion, actually. Yeah. I knew that I was like, there has to be other places like this, like in the United States. Right. Like I've been to Europe, I studied abroad there. There's so many like cool Catholic places, but it's the Jubilee year. So what I did, I pinpointed shrines all over the country and then road trip to those shrines, simultaneously speaking to the parishes and schools in that area of the shrine to their teens about chastity. So I traveled 20,000 miles in 12 weeks. Just me and my Subaru against the world. That's so cool. In the car. And then that's really what I've been doing ever since. Just moved to DC this past August. So moved home for a little bit.
We'll take a second because I feel like I remember watching on Instagram, you're like, where do I move? And I feel like you were like thinking of different places. You were asking people their thoughts on like where to move. So what made you pick DC, and like was there a runner-up city that you were considering? I'm just so curious.
That's a great question. Yes, so I like didn't know where to move to. Truth be told, I had a completely different plan for what I thought my post-grad life was going to look like. Yeah. And those plans just kind of fell apart very quickly. Yeah. I was like in a relationship in college, and then that was kind of like the plan for me. And then we ended up breaking up right after my speaking tour. So I was set to move to where he was, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, the whole world is open up to me again, of like, I now don't know where I'm going to move. I don't know what my life is going to look like, but like, this is also so exciting. And it, honestly, like God's providence through so much of that. I think there was a lot of grace that was given in that situation to me, just have my eyes open to like the world of possibilities and what that was going to look like. And so I never really considered moving anywhere else besides that plan, because that was the plan. Yeah. And I kind of, going to Benedictine, kind of heard of where some Catholic pockets were. Sure. And then I was like, you know what? I have like people on social media who are following me, and if they're following me, they're Catholic. So I might as well ask them where all these like followers are from to see if they know of other Catholic circles. So some places, for anyone, if this is helpful to them, places that popped up a lot was Phoenix, Arizona, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Nashville, Tennessee popped up there a couple times. The DFW area did. I think Indianapolis actually popped up a couple times as well. Ave Maria, Florida. Yes. Basically, this is my recommendation. Look for where the good Catholic colleges are. Next biggest city outside of that. Like Benedictine, a lot of people end up in Kansas City because it's like just like this pipeline. You like the area, you stay there. Lots of people from your college will stay there. Yeah. So DC has that advantage with like Catholic University of America being right there. Yeah. The Diocese of Arlington really intrigued me in general. That's why I moved there. I was like, I want to go somewhere where there's going to be a good Catholic community, especially as someone like I'm traveling quite frequently. Like November this month, I did the math. I was in DC 14 out of the 30 days. No like way. Just traveling. Doing stuff, giving talks, which is so like I love that life, but it definitely is like if I when I'm home, I need to be in a spot where it's like going to be really easy to meet people my
Yeah.
age and still continue to like build that community and grow in
Totally.
that way. So yeah, DC definitely drew me there. Thankfully, I'd just been on this tour where I was like all over the country, got to
You're like, what
compare
do I
some
like?
spots.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Diocese of Arlington, Arlington, Virginia, is technically where I'm at, where I landed. It's a great Catholic area. Lots of young people. I mean, I go to mass and it's like young people standing room only at these parishes.
Wow.
I could do something almost every single day. So I'm very grateful I moved there.
Cool.
And yeah, runner-up city was Nashville, Tennessee, which I could definitely see myself ending up there. But I was like, no, when like there's not going to be another time in my life where I just moved to like DC, like moved to a big city. I grew up in small town Wisconsin, then went to small town Kansas. I was like, I need something completely different than the Midwest just for a little bit. Absolutely. And it was a great reminder to me too of like, I'm choosing somewhere to live, and all I need to know is like this is where I'm living for the next year. Like give it a year, and like then I can like figure out, reassess from there. Like God's not going to just put me somewhere and be like, this is where you're stuck forever. Like God is always going to be like, he's always going to keep changing these plans. Like we don't even know, we can't even dream up what he's got for us. So I'm going to give him this take a bet on myself in doing this and go from there.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh. Okay, well, good for you. And I feel like that takes so much courage and faith. Like so many people just stay with what they know and just stay in their comfort zone, which you can't blame someone for doing that. Like I totally get that. But like that, it's just very cool to be like, I can move anywhere and I'm actually going to do it. And then you did it. Like that's just, that takes a lot of courage. So good for you, especially just like at a young age. I don't know. It's just like, you're done with college, like, okay, I could just go home and be by my family and it could be easy. But it's like, well, where's God actually asking you to go? So off you went. That's just so cool.
Right. Yeah. And I don't necessarily want to make a generalized statement like everyone needs to like move off and do the next like really big thing right out of college. But I was kind of looking at my life and there was like some aspect I was like, I need to prove to myself and like take this leap of faith and this risk and just go for it and know that God's going to catch me. And especially as someone like I work with a lot of high school students, like I remember even that transition high school to college, and now it's been like I can relate to them so much in like this college to post graduation life of like, I don't know necessarily what God wants me to do. And I keep trying to grasp all the answers. And at some point you can't get all the answers. Like not everything is going to be answered for you. And like, I even thought that I had all the answers, right? Like the answer to my vocation, who that was going to be with, where I was going to live. I also, there's like financial security in that. Like I'm a missionary essentially. Like, do I have like a steady, like my job right now offers no stability. Like I'm a chastity speaker. Like I love what I do, but there's no like job security in that. So I had like a very like easy and in a way easy, like, okay, this makes sense. Everything kind of lines up. And then all of a sudden, like nothing lined up. And it's like, all right, where's like the one yes that I like, what's something that I can do that I know God is calling me to? And I was like, I kept going back to like the everyday saint, chastity speaking. That's where God wants me to go. And now let's like take the next step. I don't need to know every single thing in my life. I just need to know this next step. And that was moving to DC and just diving right in with Everyday Saint.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for that overview. I'm obsessed. It's so cool. It's so fun. I just love, and Courtney and I feel like talk about this all the time, just like following your dreams and just really putting what God is asking you to do at the forefront, even if it's hard, even if it's scary. You just love to see people do it. It's just so exciting. It's so cool. But okay, let's go back a little bit because you're a chastity speaker now, but your past is very interesting and like especially in direct comparison to chastity speaking things that you have done. So explain your pageant life before chastity speaking. I'm like excited to see where this journey takes us.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll start how I got into overview for anyone.
Yes.
I competed in the Miss America organization all throughout high school.
Wow.
I was Miss Wisconsin's teen in 2021, competed at Miss America's teen, did the whole thing. But
wow.
I actually grew up around the Miss America organization. My mom competed back in the day.
Wow.
Then stayed a volunteer. She just saw how it was impacting these young people. Like Miss America is the #1 scholarship competition for young women in the United States.
I did not know that. Very cool.
Yes. So there's a lot more to it than what we see. Like sometimes I'm actually really hesitant to bring up my pageant past because I think there's such a stereotype with it of like, oh, it's just a beauty competition. And there's always some element of that. Like I think in anything that we do, even any like job search that we go on. Like there's some element of like people are drawn to beauty. So
Yes.
I don't want to discredit that. There is some element to that, but my mom, especially as a volunteer, saw how it was impacting young women's abilities to do interviews, to get up on stage, to build that confidence. You're building a resume for yourself because you want to be able to walk into that interview room and share what you've done. And so I grew up literally with the front row seat to Miss Wisconsin every single year. I have memories of my mom like helped coach girls. So I have memories of like sitting in my living room and these girls like walking back and forth in my kitchen, like practicing their evening gown walk and like things like that, or doing the mock interviews that my mom would let me sit in on. And I was like, these were my biggest role models. Were these like Miss Wisconsin's, Miss America's. I would go around each year getting all their autographs. I just loved it. I loved the environment. And so then when I turned 13, that's the first year of eligibility to compete. So I started competing in the teen organization for Miss America. I think I competed at Miss Wisconsin's teen 3 times. 3 times before the 4th time that I won Miss Wisconsin's teen. So you do interview, you do talent, fitness, evening gown, and then onstage question are the forms of competition. But looking back on it, like my dream was always to be Miss America someday. And it was like I had the opportunity to do it, and I'm so grateful for my like that opportunity, because I don't think I'd be doing what I am now as a chastity speaker without competing in Miss America's teen. Like it's so neat to look back on that and be like, this was truly like what God was preparing me for, especially as my faith evolved. Like I think I'm probably known as like the Miss Wisconsin's teen who is like super Catholic in a lot of ways. And there's like some element of like, I remember walking into when I had to go pick out my evening gown from when I was going to go compete at Miss America's teen. Like I walked in, my director, she wonderful lady, like she's very, very Christian. We really like resonated with that. But like we walk into the dress shop because we had a sponsor, and she was like talking to the lady who's helping us find dresses. She was like, we have a modest Miss Wisconsin here, like don't be pulling out anything that's like crazy, you know, like and not that they really do anything too crazy in Miss America, but like especially with the teens, it was like we like this is something that's important, and thinking through that.
Well, I'm glad that thank you for shedding like a positive light on these things, because I feel like sometimes people can just be so judgmental about situations like this, where they're like, oh, we're just like looking at these women's bodies and that's just disgusting. I don't know. Like, I feel like people can just be really harsh about that. But to like explain, it's like, no, there are a lot of good things. Like, they're not just here for no reason. Like, these things were supposed to be uplifting women, and they are in a lot of ways. And to learn how to give an interview and to speak in front of people and to have good posture and to present yourself as like a beautiful woman, like those are all very good things. And so I'm just happy that it's like, no, there were good things that came out of this. This isn't just like I'm some Honey Boo Boo pageant child. Right. You know what I mean? And like, that's, I think, what we have in our mind is just like watching Honey Boo Boo go up there and do like a funny dance. And then it's like, no, it's like you're becoming like this feminine, like well-spoken woman. And I think there's so many different avenues of that. Like, I think in high school, like there's the speech team and there's this. And like, I was in a We the People group where we like learned how to speak to people in Congress. And like, I don't know, like, those things like really taught me how to speak, and I'm so grateful for those opportunities. And those opportunities can look like a lot of different things. So I really hate when people are just immediately judgmental of something that can just like have a bad rep, especially maybe in like modesty culture or Catholic culture or whatever. So I'm just really here for this, like, just, like deeper understanding instead of just like giving an assumption of it. It's like kind of taking us of like, these are the good things that came out of it, and it has built me into the woman I am today in a lot of ways. Like, I'm just here for it. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I don't blame people for having that assumption too. You know, like I think there are other pageant organizations that it very much is like strange. A little strange, a little weird, but like the Miss America organization, like I paid for an entire semester of college at a Catholic college because of Miss America, and I learned how to do an interview, and like that's exactly like answering tough questions. Like I was asked tough questions in that interview. Like I was 14 years old getting asked what I thought about American diplomacy and what I would do about enhanced interrogation. Again, as like a 14 or 15-year-old, like intense. Making sure like, yes, is this person educated? Is she like paying attention to what's going on in the world? And I had to learn how to answer questions like that very quickly. And now I'm here speaking about chastity, and like those are tough questions too. Like kids come with big questions. And especially having someone come in, like I'm 22, like I am not far off in age from where they are. And I think there's some level of like comfortability for them to ask those really big questions. And I don't think I'd have that without the Miss America organization to help me with that. And we also don't do swimsuit. I'd also like to say that we don't do swimsuit. There was like a fitness competition, but yeah, there's so much to even learning how to be disciplined and be well spoken, how to present yourself well too. Like I did all of my own hair and makeup. Even at Miss America's Teen, like I had to learn how to do my own hair and makeup well, and like that's a skill that I'll always
you'll have the rest
bring
of your life.
with me. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, very cool. Did you have? I guess how did your Catholic faith incorporate into this? And were there any things? I guess like the lady being like, "We have a modest one. Like, she's gonna need a modest dress." But were there any other things where you felt like you had to like be super Catholic or stand out for your faith? Or were there any times where you're like, I don't know about this? I don't know. Like, were there any challenges with being a Catholic woman in that space? Or were you just like, I was just able to be myself? Like, what was that like?
It's funny looking back on that. I think when I first started competing as especially like a freshman and sophomore in high school, like I was really, really insecure actually. Like I was kind of putting on this front that, I was competing in like Miss America, doing all these things, like super involved in school, but I would like straighten my hair every single day, doing my makeup every single day, like not because I liked doing those things, just because I was like, oh, this will like give me more attention from boys or whatever that looked like. And so when I would lose competitions at that point that I had hoped to win, I was like really down about it. And then, my faith was never really something that I took into account at that point in my life. Like God was always there. He was kind of in the background, just like not something that I took super seriously. And then my junior year of high school, I went on a retreat, and then like that's where really my faith took root of like, okay, this like identity piece, this love that I was looking for, validation that I was looking for, like it was right under my nose. The whole time, like it was this love of God that I was really looking for. And so then I completely switched how I was living my life and just looking to God for that validation instead. So I would go and compete in these competitions, and it was like whatever God's will is, like this is what I want to do. I think it was also a good lesson. Like I think when I had this kind of reversion experience with going on the retreat, it came from a place of I had really been at a point where I was like searching and coming up empty-handed, especially when it came to like relationships, losing these competitions. Like my self-confidence was really low. And then I remember thinking like, oh, like God taught me how to love him through adversity and through suffering. And then I was like, oh, like I had this dream of winning Miss Wisconsin's Teen. It was my last year of eligibility to win. I was like, is God going to let me win this? Or is he going to want to teach me a lesson? And this is something I really have spoken as frequently on, but when I remember like coming home after winning Miss Wisconsin's Teen, like being so like excited, first of all, like this was a lifelong dream, right? That just like came true, and such a surreal moment. But I was like, God, let this happen. Like God also works in the good too. Like he wants us to be happy, and he wants to fulfill our dreams and our goals, and he places this on our hearts for a reason. And it's also amazing to think like that happened then. It was all like being Miss Wisconsin's Teen, my mission didn't end once I passed on the crown. Like I wasn't done serving. I wasn't done doing God's will when that year was up.
Right.
Or I wasn't done, evangelizing people, because I wasn't ashamed to talk about my faith at that point. I was so sure in like God. I was also like fresh reversion to the faith, like ready to go. And my whole interview actually when I won Miss Wisconsin's Teen was all about my faith, because I had on my resume that I wanted to study theology and be a theology teacher at the time. That's where I thought God was calling me most specifically, which was interesting because before then I had that I wanted to go study international studies. I was going to go work in the United Nations, had these like big dreams, and then switched to being like a theology teacher, which like that's also a very admirable career. But like people like hear like United Nations to like theology teacher, it's like that's kind of a weird switch up. But my whole interview then was about my faith actually. And it taught me so much about like I wasn't ashamed to bring it up, and I still won Miss Wisconsin's Teen. But I remember even in the preparation for Miss America's Teen, there were people who were giving me feedback of like, you need to be really sure in some of these like controversial topics and things
Yeah.
like that, because people will know that you're Catholic. Like, you have to be able to verse these things well.
Yeah.
And yeah, going back to the point, like, my mission didn't end when I was no longer Miss Wisconsin's teen. Like, now it lives on. Like, I know how to articulate those things as a chastity speaker, and God like continues to work in that.
Wow. That is so cool. That is just really, really inspiring. I think that is just really cool. If you have a daughter someday, do you think you would want her to do pageants?
This is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think I would discourage it, but I don't think I would encourage it either.
Yeah.
Just
no, that's so fair. I feel like that's a really good answer.
Yeah, I think I would like bring her to them. My mom and I grew up doing that, and it was so fun. Like, I get to get dressed up. My mom would do my hair. Like, we would go. I get a kitty cocktail with her before the pageant. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah.
So I think I would do that. I don't. Yeah, but I think I would leave it up to her. I love helping the girls, especially with interview. I think that's like the most beneficial part of it.
Totally.
You know, and I could always go back and compete myself technically, but I think like it's served its purpose in my life at this point, that I learned a lot from it. But yeah, at some point it's like God wants you to spread your wings beyond that and like continue to use what he was preparing you for. And I've even been thinking about that like as a life lesson, like the things that we did when we were younger and the things that like God shows us as even just like little children, like the things that we love to do. There's so much, I think, that correlates to our mission later on in life that we don't always realize that.
Absolutely. No, that's so true. There's so many connecting dots where you're like, oh, that makes sense why I had that experience. So now I'm able to do this. So that's cool. Okay. Let's transition to chastity talks, because I feel like chastity is such a good conversation. And it's something, it's funny now, I'm like almost 30 and I'm married and all these things. So it's just kind of like way less of a thing in my mind a lot of the times, because it's kind of like, okay, once you're married, it just kind of feels like there's a sigh of relief in some ways, because you're like, this huge fight to remain super duper chaste feels like you're kind of like over. And chastity does not end once you get married. It's a huge part of marriage as well, but it does look different.
Right.
So it's kind of funny because it's like, oh yeah, I feel like I used to think about chastity a lot, and I used to study it a lot, and like hear John Paul II's teachings on it and like really hold on to those, because you like need that conviction so big when you're trying to remain chaste before you're married. Like, it's such an important thing to do. So I'm excited to kind of like get to dive into it just a little bit. But so how, like, where did your heart for giving chastity talks come from, or like your heart for chastity come from, if you don't mind sharing?
Yes, no, I'd love to. Kind of as I mentioned earlier, when I was in middle school and high school, I was just someone who really struggled with that like confidence component and those insecurities, and just thinking that, you know, once I had a boyfriend, like I'd feel super fulfilled and like super content. And then I would feel pretty like if a boy gave me attention. And definitely went through like a super awkward stage in middle school that I was like, no one was giving any attention, you know? Like, I was there. Coming up empty-handed. And I remember like just being jealous of like the middle school relationships that we all know, like those don't count for anything at all. Like, they're ridiculous. It's like, so ridiculous. I had like friends who would be like, oh yeah, we're dating, and it looked like something like, oh, we at the lunch table get up at the same time to throw our lunch away and then like sit back down. That's their relationship, you know? It's like, wow. Okay.
But it can make you feel like, well, I don't have the boy to walk to the trash can.
Boy doesn't like me. Yeah, exactly. And I don't really know where that insecurity came from, but that's just like really something I was just kind of boy crazy in general.
Well, so many girls like that. It's just such a normal thing.
Yes, exactly. And that was really where I think this chastity component came in, of like, I was just looking for that validation in boys, and I sense that so much with young people in general. And like our relationships, like they're so fun to talk about. Oh my gosh, like, don't we love it? Like, we love to like hear all the tea and hear about everything that's going on. And so when I was thinking about like, I know I want to be a Catholic speaker. Like, I know that God is calling me to do this. I had done, Miss America, that helped me. I did speech and debate in high school. And then I started leading retreats with Benedictine's ministry. And on these retreats, I go and give talks. And I just kept wanting to lead these retreats just so that I could give the talks. Like, I just loved it. And I was like, this is like, I feel the most alive when I'm doing that. There's just nothing. There's nothing, I can't even put words to it. Like, I like black out. I'm like, so cool. Or like, I just like try to speak from the heart. And then when I realized, like, I think God is calling me to do this as a mission and as a career, I was thinking about my past experiences, what I should talk about, like, what does that look like? And chastity was really just what kept coming to mind, I think, because of this insecurity, but also because, like, I think chastity in relationships, when we look at how we love other people, I think that correlates so much to the way that we love God and the way that we view God.
Yeah.
And this idea of, like, not just chastity as like a bunch of no's and like a long list of like boundaries, but like how can this be something that's freeing and recognizing, it's about recognizing the dignity of the human person and the beauty of the body and the beauty of like who we are as God's children. So even when I give these chastity presentations, I spend the first 20 minutes of the 60-minute presentation just like talking about that identity piece, because if we recognize where love comes from and that this is a universal experience, that we all experience love and are all searching for love, and we understand like it comes from this loving Father who we can just like fall into his embrace and choose to love him, and you won't look back. Like that's the most fulfilling thing. I really focus on that to then get to the point where like, okay, like how does this look in relationships? And I was just giving some presentations this last week actually, and talking to the high school students, it's like they want to be called higher in their relationships, and you can tell. I talked to so many of them after the presentation that they were like, thank you so much for like coming and giving this talk and encouraging us like that, like dating is something that should be taken seriously, and that our hearts matter, and that is worth value, and that our time and our standards, like it does matter even though we're like young and in high school. Like this isn't just a message of being like, oh, like intimacy is so bad, and like intimacy before marriage is like so frowned upon. It's so much more than that. It's like, how do we love, and how can we love each other well, I think is really the root of the message.
It's so good. I remember, like I said, John Paul II is my confirmation saint, and one of the biggest reasons was his teaching on human love and like what that is and the truth of that. And I just feel like I never realized how amazing and like just more amazing than you could ever imagine it could be, like the high call of chastity and the high call of like what human love can be when it's not a using of each other's situation. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. And also crazy that this like Pope is speaking on this. And I just remember being like so blown away. And I'm just like, this is the Catholic Church. Like this is, it gets down to the nitty gritty of like, how do you actually do this? Because especially as a young person, chastity is very challenging. Excuse me. As we know, like to actually live that out, it's like something you have to be convicted about and choose every day and all these things. And I just remember being like, wow, this is being taken one so seriously, but is also pointing us to something that's like so beautiful. And it's like, yeah, why would I settle for anything less than this incredible thing, you know?
Right. Exactly. Because it's meant to reflect the love of God. Like that's the whole point. And thinking back to how I loved in high school, like I had always wanted to make the decision to save intimacy for marriage. Like that's something that a decision I made from a young age. But even in the way that I was like pursuing these relationships, it was from a place of like, I need to be fulfilled. I need to feel beautiful. So then I was turning to these other people for that validation. And like looking back on that, like that's such a selfish view of love. Like I'm with you because I want to feel good. Like that's not how we're called to love. And really, if God is our definition of love, if that's where our love comes from, where it's found in the most pure version of love, well, then our greatest example of love is the crucifixion. And if that's true, like that was not easy. That was not selfish at all. That was not like God was not looking for fulfillment in any way. He was not getting any sort of comfort up there on the cross. Like if that's our greatest example of love, like I look at that a lot in chastity. Like you need to learn how to sacrifice and sacrifice well. And also how beautiful is it when you're in a relationship with someone and like figuring that out, that you're automatically like by making this decision you're sacrificing for each other. Like you're saying like, I recognize the gift that you are and the gift that you are to someone, and I want to give of myself to you. That's like the natural human response, but I don't want to do that when it's not yet like promised to me, when we haven't made these vows that I can give myself to you. Like, I want to protect that within you. And that's like living out that sacrifice and living out the crucifixion for that person before you're even married. And like, what better foundation could you have for a marriage than one that's built on a sacrificial love?
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're promising to love that person for the rest of your life. That's not easy. No. Like, this is the only person that you, like, the only family member that you really choose to have in your life is your spouse.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes. But it's also, it's like, I've been married for like 4.5 years now. And it is so, you don't know what sacrifices will be asked of you in your marriage. You don't know that before you're in it. It's like some things, maybe it's like, okay, you can see like, okay, our personalities maybe do this here and there. So these might be some sacrifices that have to be made or whatever. But then life happens and it really comes down to like, okay, what did I promise at the altar for this person? It's like to love them through anything and everything that we go through. And I have to, I am going to live that out in every way. Like it is just in just ways you would never imagine. I don't know. Like, obviously I'm not going to get specific in my own marriage, but it has just been this like, am I going to choose to carry the cross with this person through, and love them unconditionally and like be so merciful and have them be merciful back to me. It's just a very like, you don't know what to expect. And it's like, of course, like when you're getting married and you're in the engagement and the honeymoon phase, it's like all just so sweet and so fun and everything. And then life happens. And it's just so, I'm so blessed to have married someone where it's like, I know he's never going anywhere. Like no matter what, it's like just the way we prepared for our marriage and like knowing what marriage is. It's like, no matter what we go through, like he will always be there and I will always be there for him. And it's like chastity is a part of that. And to like allow marriage to be the fullness of marriage and not let like being pretend married before you're married and like all of that, like set up our marriage for like, no, everything changed on the altar. Like everything changed once we said I do and promised ourselves to each other forever. And there's just so much grace with that. And it really is just like the most beautiful thing. And also just a very hard thing. There's so many, just like marriage is crazy. Or like having children and like going through really, really intense things together. And there's so much comfort found in knowing that it's like, we upheld marriage before our marriage even began. And that just adds this extra layer of like peace and security. It's like we took it seriously before it was even happening, So that's, amazing. Amazing. Something I kind of want to ask your opinion on because a lot of our listeners we have people in college. We have a lot of people who are just like post-college in their 20s, in their 30s. And there's probably a lot of women who have had reversions or in the middle of conversions and reversions and have probably been in situations where it's like they weren't chaste in a relationship or they're living with their boyfriend or fiance or something right now, or they've gone through it and they're trying to heal, but they don't know how. They're caught up in a pornography addiction. Like, I feel like there could be so many different stages and places that so many of our listeners could be in. So like, let's say you're not going to be a virgin on your wedding day and you've gone through these things before. Do you have any like words of wisdom or words of hope for anyone listening who could be in that situation?
The thing I always go back to is God's mercy. Like, I think John Paul II says that mercy is a message for specifically this century. Like this, like when he welcomed in the year 2000, like his message of mercy was, he's like, this generation, this century needs this message of mercy.
Wow.
And you have to be merciful to yourself before you can be like merciful and love other people well. Like allowing God's mercy to touch those parts of our lives and be vulnerable with God.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is like God recognizes the beauty and the value of who you are first and foremost, always. Like when you come before Jesus, he doesn't look at you and think that you're worthless or that you've lost something.
Yeah.
Like all he sees is his beloved daughter or his beloved son. That's first and foremost, always. So we can turn to God in vulnerability and turn to God in his mercy and know that he's with us. Like I even remember like going through breakups after high school and like going into college and looking at like relationships and questioning like, do I know how to love? Like, do I know, like, am I healed enough from, this breakup or like this emotion? And just like allowing myself to go before God in adoration specifically and be like, God, what do you say about me? Like, how do you love that I can love well? Because I think too, like God teaches us the value of the body and like the value of his redemption through the crucifixion. Like the crucifixion, our bodies have to mean something for the crucifixion to have meant something too, right? Because if God gives his body to us, if God comes to us in the Eucharist, like it proves how important the materialistic is, but also how healing that is. Like both of those, the crucifixion, again, it was not easy. And now we have like Jesus, that we get to encounter him in that way in the Eucharist. And it's in Jesus's breaking of the body, like this brokenness, this vulnerability, that he comes to us. Like in Jesus's brokenness, he comes to us. So we too then can go to Jesus in our brokenness and know that he's there to make us whole, right? That's what holiness is, wholeness. And that he will come to us. Like his, a message, actually, if anyone's been paying attention to like NCYC and what the Pope was saying in messages like that, it's like God doesn't tire of forgiving us. We tire of asking for forgiveness. And Jesus wants to come and heal us. Like he loves nothing more than to save us. That's why he's our savior, right? Like the thing that he's best at, right, is saving us. And he wants to do that. So like, let's let him save us.
Oh, that's so encouraging. That's so good. I the idea of mercy is truly, just something I think about all the time. Just like as a wife, as a mother, it's just like mercy, mercy, mercy. And it's like, how could I not be merciful to these people when God is so merciful to me and has been so merciful to me, who is all perfect, all knowing, all loving. And it's like, I'm this little imperfect girl. Like if he can forgive and he's perfect, like I have to forgive. Like I have to be merciful. I like don't, if anyone could like stand a chance of like not having to forgive, it's like it's God, because he's perfect and like he hasn't hurt us at all. You know what I mean? It's like, no, he still forgives, and so we need to forgive too. And I think a big step in terms of chastity and purity and all of these things is like the self-forgiveness aspect. And I love that it's like this emphasis on mercy, especially for this generation. I feel like so many people have been affected, especially by sexual sin. It's just everywhere. It's so hard to stay away from, like as young children or teens or whatever. It's just like, it's literally everywhere. Like if you want to watch a TV show, like half the time there's going to be pornography in it. And it's like, okay, well, how do you stay away from that? Like, it's just this battle. And so I feel like it's affected so many, and it can feel like so much shame. And you're like, how am I going to move on from this? Like there's so much shame around it. And it's like, the mercy you have to have on yourself, which is God given and so much grace given. But it's like that step, I feel like, is a step that sometimes isn't taken. And it just leads people to more shame and to more brokenness because they haven't taken the time to actually let God love them and forgive them and to forgive themselves. And I mean, to just call some things out, a lot of the times people's like first exposure to sexual sin is not sought out. Like it's usually happens to them in some capacity. It's like someone showed you something that you weren't trying to see that, but it happened. And then, you know what I mean? And I think they're like that mercy that you need to have. It's like, you're not bad. Like the world is just really, there's a lot going on in the world. And it's just like the wisdom to be like, yeah, mercy is going to be the thing we need because so many things are coming at us at all angles. And I don't know. That's just, very well said and so important.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of times too, when I encounter people, it's not even like they wanted to like fall into sin. It's like they don't even know like chastity is an option for them at this point. Like it's just like not even talked about, which is crazy.
It is
like,
not the norm. Like, it's not even close to the norm.
No, it's not. And I want to share one of my favorite stories that if anyone who's struggling with this maybe can pray with a little bit later is I love Saint Teresa of Avila. I'm a big saint person. Okay. I got them like all locked up in my mind. But Saint Teresa of Avila is one of my favorites. And I read this story of hers once that you know, she was one of those saints that was like so far from sin that the devil literally couldn't reach her.
Yeah.
So he like came to her in the night disguised as Jesus. So
Wow.
yeah, Satan comes to Saint Teresa of Avila. She's like sleeping.
Yeah.
He comes in pretending to be Jesus, and immediately Saint Teresa goes, "You're not Jesus. Like, you're not Christ."
Yeah.
And Satan was like, "How do you know? How do you not like?
Yeah.
How could I not have fooled you?" And she told him, "Well, you don't have the wounds of Christ." Like in this depiction of Jesus, like Satan didn't come with the nails in his hands and like, his feet. Like, and I think about that because specifically it's like Saint Teresa of Avila knew that it wasn't Jesus by the fact he didn't have the wounds.
Wow.
So like Jesus reveals himself through his wounds, therefore, right? Like any image of Jesus, like the Divine Mercy image, Jesus still bears his wounds.
Yeah.
When he goes to see doubting Thomas, he still bears his wounds, even in his resurrected body.
Yeah.
And it's like in Jesus's wounds, we know him.
Yeah.
And I think about that with our life. Like we all have those wounds or those times that we've messed up. And Jesus actually, like, he can see those wounds and bring about redemption from the wounds.
Yeah.
Like they're not things that we need to hide or stay away from. Like even Jesus doesn't hide his wounds. Like he lets us see him. He lets us be vulnerable with him, to see his suffering and see his pain. And so I think like Jesus too knows us by our wounds, and not in a way that's like condemning and shameful, but in a way that can actually free us.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And just, all of this, I feel like we always come back to like encouragement to go to confession and to not be afraid. I feel like especially just with that story, like you don't need to be ashamed of the wounds and the sins that you need to confess. And I feel like sometimes that can be such a like restriction of like, well, I can't, there's no way I could say that out loud to a priest. Like, how could I reveal this? Like, this is so ugly. This is so terrible, whatever it is, but, just praying that you have a very merciful priest on your hands and they're not scandalized. First of all, the priests have heard it all. They've genuinely heard it all. There's nothing you can say that's going to scandalize them at this point. Like,
no,
you're good. I promise. Like, I promise. But I think it can be really intimidating to even have to say those things out loud sometimes. And I just love that encouragement of like, Jesus comes. I don't know. He just like he's teaching us like, it's okay to reveal those things to me. Like he already knows, and to be freed from those in the sacrament of confession. There's nothing like it. And if you haven't gone to confession in a few years, this is another encouragement to do so, especially during the Advent season before Christmas. There's probably lots of services. There's probably lots of priests if you don't want to go with your parish priest because you're just like, I have personal relationship. That's kind of weird. There's so many, there'll be a bunch of priests all over the place to do confessions. And hopefully, if it's been a while, that this could just encourage you, because the freedom that can come from beginning again after confession is the best. And you really can just begin again. And we're trying again on this path to sainthood and this path of love. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what love is. Like God sees us for who we are, beyond this, and like He knows who we're meant to be. He knows who He's calling us to be, and how He's calling us to love better. And I don't think that we can do His mission. We can't do what He's calling us to without that cleansing first.
Yeah.
Because He wants to heal us. He wants to make us whole, but without that like vulnerability piece, that component. Like vulnerability leads to mercy, which leads to trust, which I think leads to faith. Like we need the vulnerability to get to this point of trust and this point of faith. And I think even St. Faustina, she says the sin that hurts God's heart the most is the sin of distrust. Wow. And I think that is it both in like trusting God's mission for you and like He's going to take care of you, but also trusting in His mercy. Absolutely. Trusting that He will forgive you. Like, I think that like enlivens Jesus's heart, and He gets so giddy to see us and to know like for us to know that we're healed and we're forgiven by Him. Like He wants nothing more than that.
No, it's so true. It's so good. Well, this was such a good conversation, Eve. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad we got to meet in person. Can you please share with our listeners where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, where they can find any of your goodies that you sell? If anyone needs a chastity speaker, how they can connect with you, like please share all with our listeners.
Here. I would love to connect with them too, even just to chit chat. If they want to send me I'm pretty active on Instagram. My Instagram is theeveryday.saint. So you can follow along there. I post about, little like Catholic Catholic life as a
Yes.
22-year-old.
Yeah.
Post all the post-grad things and what God is teaching me. I post on Instagram. You can also find me on theeverydaysaint.com. So www.theeverydaysaint.com.
Perfect.
And then you can listen to the Everyday Saint podcast.
Yes.
So I interview, to this day, still interview young Catholics about their faith journey. That's really the heart of the podcast. So young Catholics can inspire others. But I think you can listen to that and be like inspired at any age.
Yes.
I also have some like solo episodes where I tackle cultural things or things that are going on in the Catholic world.
Nice.
On there. So that's the Everyday Saint podcast,
Perfect.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever they want to listen. And then, speaking, I travel all over the country. So whether you're near DC or not, I go everywhere. And that the inquiry form and more information is also on my website.
Okay, great. That's so fun. That's so cool. I'm so just impressed by you following your dreams and your God-given dreams, and to do something so important, like speaking about chastity, especially in a time such as this. Just thank you for your yes, because you're probably just allowing the Lord to change a lot of hearts through the truth that you're speaking. So keep it up. You're doing such a good job. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
And go find Eve at Seek in Denver. Go to her breakout session. If you're going, you better be there. Tell her that we sent you. Yes. She'll be able to connect with you so easily. But thank you again. And thank you for listening, you guys. Next week, Courtney and I will be on the mic doing a Q&A. So we can't wait for that. And then we'll be taking 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. And then we'll be back in the new year. But we'll have so much fun stuff happening on Instagram for Seek. So definitely, we'll be in Columbus. So if you're in Columbus, also stay tuned for an announcement on our meet and greet we're going to do. And I think we're going to do a live podcast while we're at Seek as well, in a hotel conference room area. So we'll give more information on that. Be sure to check out all of our sponsors that we've had over the last few weeks. They've been amazing. And I think that's it for us today. So thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.